Mm. Maybe I'll take good lunch today. I can't tell you what to make. Hold on.
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances of Lord Srila Prabhupada. Welcome devotees to our morning Bhagavatam class. This morning we will be hearing from one of Srila Prabhupada's lectures from Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse 28 to 29. Request devotees to please increase your volume if the recording is not clear. And we also request devotees to please try to pick out at least one takeaway or reflection that we can share with each other at the end of the class and share our reflection, our takeaways, so that myself and others can benefit and learn from your reflection and your takeaways. So without further delay, we will start the class. Hare Krishna.
Vasudeva Para Veda Vasudeva Maka Vasudeva Para Yoga Vasudeva Para Vasudeva Param Jnanam Vasudeva Param Tapa Vasudeva Paro Dharma Vasudeva Gati Vasudeva Paraveda Vasudeva Paramaka Vasudeva Paramakha Vasudeva Parayoga Vasudeva Parakriya Vasudeva Param Jnanam Vasudeva Param Tapa Vasudeva Paro Dharma Vasudeva Paragati Vasudeva Paraveda Vasudeva Paramakha Vasudeva Parayoga Vasudeva Parakriya Vasudeva Param Jnanam Vasudeva Paro Dharma Vasudeva Paragati Vasudeva Paraveda Vasudeva Paramakha Vasudeva Parayoga Vasudeva Parakriya Vasudeva Param Jnanam Vasudeva Param Tapa Vasudeva Paro Dharma Vasudeva Paragati
Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead.
The personality of Godhead.
Para, ultimate goal. Veda, revealed scriptures. Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead. Para, for worshiping. Maka, sacrifices. Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead.
The personality of God.
Para, means of attaining. Yoga, mystic paraphernalia. Vasudeva, the personality of Godhead. Para, under his control. Kriya, fruitive activities. Vasudeva, personality of Godhead. Parang, supreme. Jnanam, knowledge. Vasudeva, personality of Godhead. Param, best. Tapa, austerity,
Austerity.
Vasudeva,
Vasudeva.
personality of Godhead,
Personality of Godhead.
Parak,
Para.
superior quality,
Superior quality.
Dharma,
Dharma.
religion,
Religion.
Vasudeva,
Vasudeva.
personality of Godhead,
Personality of Godhead.
Parak,
Para.
ultimate,
Ultimate.
Gati,
Gati.
goal of life.
Goal of life.
Translation. In the revealed scriptures, the ultimate object of knowledge is Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. The purpose of performing sacrifice is to please Him. Yoga is for realizing Him. All fruitive activities are ultimately rewarded by Him only. He is supreme knowledge, and all severe austerities are performed to know Him. Religion or Dharma is rendering loving service unto Him. He is the supreme goal of life.
Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlava. The same verse in the Bhagavad Gita is explained here in the Srimad Bhagavatam, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita, Baunam Janmanam Ante Gyanavan Mang Prapaddate Vasudeva Sarvamiti Sa Mahatma Sudurlava. There are many Mahatmas, many yogi, jnani, karmi. They are all good. But if they do not approach the ultimate goal of life, means approaching Vasudeva, then Sramaeva hi kevalam. Dharmasyanasya tappangsam Vishyaksena kathasujat Notpadayad rating jadi Sramaeva hi kevalam. You can execute your religious principles, you can execute dharma, dana, tapakriya, charity, dharma, dana. You can execute severe austerities, penances. But if you do not approach Vasudeva, Sri Krishna, then the Shastra says, Sramaeva hi kevalam. In another place it is said, Aradhita jadi haris tapasa tata kim. If you can approach Vasudeva, Hari, Narayan, Krishna, Vishnu, the same, Rama, Nishinga, Varaha, Advaita, Achyuta, Anadi, Ananta Rupam. Vasudeva has got Ananta Rupam. Ananta Rupam means, this is described in the Srimad Bhagavatam, just like if you sit down by the side of a river and the waves are flowing, you cannot count how many waves are going on in your front. Similarly, how many forms are there of Vasudeva? That is very difficult to count. Advaita, Achyuta, Anadi, Ananta Rupam, Adyang Purana Purusam Navajau Banancha, Vedeshu Durlava, Adur Lava Atma Bhakto, Govindamadi Purusam Tamahang Bhaja. Absolute truth is one, Advaita. Advaita is one. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Sabdat. Absolute truth is one, but he is realized in three phases. Brahma, impersonal Brahma, localized Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are one. Vadanti tat tattavidas tatyam jadgyanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabdati. The absolute truth is one. One who knows the absolute truth, he knows that Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan, the same objective, but they are realized by different devotees or different knower in different features. The example is given in this connection. Just like if you see from a very distant place one hill, you will find just like a cloud, hazy cloud. If you push forward further, you will find something green. But when you actually approach the hill, you will find there are many houses, many animals, many trees, varieties. So the absolute truth, when it is realized by our limited understanding, the absolute truth appears as Nirbishesh, impersonal Brahma. Similarly, when we try to meditate upon the absolute truth within our heart, he appears as Paramatma. Yogis, dhyanavasthita tadgatina, manasa pasyanti yang yogina. But at the ultimate issue, he is Vasudeva, Krishna, origin. Advaita, Achyuta, Anadi. Krishna has no source. He is the original source of everything. Janmadasya jataha, aham sarvasya prabhava. These things are there. So, Krishna is the original cause of everything, cause of all causes, but he is independent. Sarat. That is described in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam. Janmadasya jata annayat itaratascha arthesu avijña sarat. Sarat means completely independent. He is not caused by anyone. And he says also in the Bhagavad Gita, Matta parataram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. So he is the origin, Vasudeva. Therefore, all activities should be targeted to Vasudeva. Vasudeva Sarvamiti. This is the aim of life. Unfortunately, they do not know it. People in general, they do not know it. That is ignorance. This material world is full of ignorance. Therefore it is called tama. Tama means darkness. We do not know. The human civilization at the present moment, at least, it is always at the present moment, it is completely in darkness, that they do not know what is the aim of life. Nati vidu sartha gating hi Vishnu. Everyone is very intelligent, at least he thinks like that I am attaining my interest of life in different ways, but actually one does not know what is his actual interest. Nati vidu sartha gating, satisfaction of our interest. Everyone is interested, but they do not know what is actual interest. The actual interest is to search out Vishnu, or Vasudeva. Therefore, here it is said, Vasudeva para Veda. You are studying Vedas, that's all right. But do you know what is the end of the Vedas? That is answered by Krishna himself. Veda ishta sarvai ahameva vedyam. This is the end of. You are a very nice student, great student of Vedas, but do you know where to end? Where is Vedanta? No. Vedanta, Veda means knowledge. Do you know what is the end of knowledge? They'll talk of Vedanta, but minus Krishna. This is going on. They are known as Vedanti minus Krishna. But what is the use? Sarma-eva hi kevalam. Simple wasting time. Simply wasting time. Here it is clearly said, Vasudeva para Veda. If you are a student of Vedas, then you must know that ultimately you have to know who is Vasudeva. In the Vedas, there are prescription of sacrifice, so many different types of sacrifices, yajna. So, yajna is the name of Vishnu. Another name of Vishnu is yajna. In the Bhagavad Gita it is said, yajñārthe karma, karmakandya, rituals, religious rituals. This is meant for yajñārthe, sacrifice, or Vishnu. In every sacrifice there must be Vishnu. Those who are Hindus following the Vedic principles, any yajna, any sacrifice, any religious ceremony you perform, there must be Yajneshwar, Salagram Sila. Without Salagram Sila, no yajna sacrifice can be performed. Here it is said, Vasudeva Paramakha. In the Vishnu Puran, it is said, Varnasamacharavata Purusena Parapuman Vishnu Aradhate Pungsang Nanna Tattu Sukaranam. The whole aim of Varnasam Dharma, Chaturvarnam Maya system Gunakarma Vibhagasa, the Brahmanas, the Kshatriyas, the Vaishyas, the Shudras, the Brahmachari, the Grihastha, the Vanaprastha, and the Sannyas. This is called Varnasam. This is the form of human civilization. Unless one comes to this point of executing the Varnasam Dharma, he is animal. Dharmena hina pasubhi samana. This is dharma. To execute Varnasam Dharma. That is dharma. So if anyone is not executing this Varnasam, he is animal. Pasubhi samana. That is not accepted as human civilization. When Ramananda Raya was questioned by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what is sadha and sadhan? What is human duty, sadha? And what is the end of sadhan? Sadhana means cultivating something with the aim of objective. So this question was put to Ramananda Raya by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the aim of human life and what is the process of executing that will? So immediately Ramananda Raya said that Varnasamacharvata, the beginning of human life is to execute the Varnasama dharma. Varnasamacharvata Purushena Parapama. Why Varnasam? The Vishnu Aradhate. If you properly execute your Varnasam dharma, actually it is now pervertedly spoken as Hindu dharma. Hindu dharma is a vague term. Real dharma is Varnasam dharma. In Hindu dharma we don't find any Vedic literature, neither in the Bhagavad Gita. It is a nomenclature given by the Mohammedans, Hindus, from Sindhu, Hindu. Anyway, now we are known as Hindus. The Hindu is a vague term. A real term is Varnasama. Varnasam. 4 Varnas and 4 As. This is dharma. And this is given by God Himself. Just like Krishna says, Chaturvarnam maya sristam guna karma vibhagasa. It is given by God. You cannot manufacture dharma, religion, no. Dharmantu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Dharma means the codes, the regulation given by God. That is dharma. That is dharma. Otherwise, it is not dharma. And therefore, Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam saranam bhaja. That is dharma. Obedience to God. Religion means obedience to God. Nowadays it has become a fashion to drive away God and make a so-called show-off religion. Drive away, no God. Just like our secular state. Don't think of God. This is botheration. Kill God, conscious secular state. Don't talk of God, Ravana's secular state. Without God, what is life? Without, if you do not follow the codes or the rules or the laws given by God, then what is your religion? That is not religion. Dharmantu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Just like the state can give you laws, there is legislative assembly of the state, they can enact laws. You cannot do at home. You cannot do. That will not be accepted as law. Similarly, our Vedic principle is religion means the codes and the rules and regulations given by God. That is religion. Krishna says, God says, Manvana bhavamad bhakta madhyaji mang namaskuru. This is religion. Vasudeva paradharmo. Vasudeva parodharmo. Dharma, here it is said, that it should be given by Vasudeva, and it must be approved by Vasudeva, Krishna. Vasudeva means son of Vasudeva, Krishna. So, Om Namo Bhagavati Vasudeva. So, either you perform dharma, either you perform yoga, either you study Vedas, either you work, whatever you do, it must be targeted, the ultimate goal should be Vasudeva. Then it is perfect. In many places it is explained. Sanusthitasya dharmasya samsiddhi haritosanam. You may accept any kind of dharma, it doesn't matter. Sanusthitasya dharmas. But the perfection, how you are becoming perfect in executing your dharma, will be tested how far you have satisfied the Supreme Personality of God. Sanusthitasya dharmasya atapung vidija sreshta varnasama vibhagas. Everything is very nicely explained in every sloka, in every chapter of the Vedic literature, especially in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Sanusthitasya dharmasya atapung vidija sreshta atah. Therefore, after saying so many things, Dijasreshta, Naimisharanya. So still Naimisharanya is there, Nimsar. So in that Naimisharanya all the sages assemble and the conclusion, the resolution was Atapungvi Dijasreshta. All the great Brahmins, learned Brahmins, Dijasreshta. Dija means Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, but Sreshta means Brahman. Dija Sreshta. Atapungvi Dija Sreshta. Atapungvi Dija Sreshta Varnasama Vibhagasa, because human civilization means accepting this Varna Asrama. There must be classification, not that everyone is the same, everyone on the same level. Everyone on the same level means Shudra. No knowledge. No knowledge, no philosophy, no culture. Simply eat, sleep and animals life. So, atapungvi dijasreshta varnasama vibhagasa must be there. The present civilization is suffering because there is no such thing as varnasama vibhagasa. There is no selection, that there must be the most intelligent class of man, Brahmana, the real Kshatriya, who can give protection to the people, Kshatriya, that is real Kshatriya, and Vaishya, who can actually give protection to the cows and produce agricultural products and trade, and Shudras, ordinary liberal class. There must be divisions, they must be trained. I have repeatedly said in America that there is draft board, they call conscription, they call any young man to the military department, but most of these boys, young men, they try to avoid this military, most of them. One of the causes of the hippie movement is due to the government's draft board. They want to avoid it. So I have repeatedly said, why do they avoid? In India still we have got some martial races, the Jats, the Sikhs. They will be very glad to accept military training still, because there is Kshatriya spirit. But in other countries, they have been made all Shudras. How they can take up Kshatriya spirit? That is not possible. So, according to this Varnasrama, there must be training. Some classes of men must be trained as nice Brahmanas. Some people must be trained as nice Kshatriyas. Some people must be trained as nice Vaishyas, and Shudra does not require it. Everyone is Shudra. Janmana jayate Shudra. By birth, everyone is Shudra. Sanskarat bhaved dija. By training, one becomes Vaishya, one becomes Kshatriya, one becomes Brahman. Where is that training? All Shudras. Then how can you expect good government? Shudra government. All the Shudras are taking vote by hook and crook, and their occupying government post. Therefore, their only business is, Kali in this age especially, mlecha rajanna rupina, eating and drinking, eating flesh, drinking wine, mlechas, javanas. They are accepting government post. What good government you can expect? Forget good government for millions of years. Unless you establish this varnashram dharma, there is no question of good government. There must be first-class Kshatriya who can take charge of the government, just like Parikshit Maharaj. He was on his tour, and as soon as he saw that one black man was trying to kill a cow, immediately took his sword. Who are you, rascal here? That is Kshatriya. That is Vaishya, who can give protection to the cows. Krishi Goraksha Vanijam, Vaishya Karma Sabhav. Everything is there clearly. Where is the culture? Therefore, this Krishna consciousness movement is so important. The leaders of the society, they should take very serious attention how you can improve the social condition of this world. Not only here, everywhere, simply it is going on in ignorance and illusion, everything. Vague, no clear idea. Here is clear idea. Vasudeva Paraveda. You are Veda knowledge. You are educating people, but where is your education? To teach people about Vasudeva, about Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is prohibited. Vasudeva speaking about himself, but there is prohibited. And if somebody is reading, some rascal is reading, he is making minus Vasudeva. That's all. Bhagavad Gita minus Krishna. This is going on. Whole nonsense. You cannot expect human civilization in a nonsense society. Here it is the real purpose of human life. Vasudeva Paraveda. Vasudeva Paramakha. Vasudeva Parajoga. There are so many yogis. I can clearly say that without Vasudeva, yoga. Simply pressing the nose, that's all. This is not yoga. They say in Europe and America, the yoga principle is very popular because they think by practice of yoga, they will have very good health and they can use their senses very nicely. That is yoga system. The fatty woman goes to the yoga class for reduced fat. That is yoga system. Somebody is going to practice yoga system for making right the liver action. Here is yoga. Vasudeva Parajoga. That is, Krishna also says in the yoga chapter, Sankhya Yoga chapter, Krishna says, Yoginam api sarvesam madgata antaratmana sadhyavan bhajati jomang sami yukta tamo mata. He is yogi. That is yogi. Not for health's sake or curing the liver disease or reducing fat, yoga system. This is not yoga system. But people are so much absorbed in the bodily concept of life. Everything they want with this in connection with this body. That's all. Instead of Vasudeva Parajoga, there is Sharira Parajoga. Sharira Parajoga. First. These are all first. So, Vasudeva Parajoga, Vasudeva Parakriya, all the activities should be the same thing. Kriya means Varnashram Dharma. Everyone is engaged in his own work. Brahmana is engaged in his own work. Kshatriya is engaged in his own work. That is all right. But the ultimate goal should be Haritosanam, Sanusthitasya dharmasya. It doesn't matter whether you are Brahmin or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya and Shudra, it doesn't matter. Just try to see by your work whether Krishna or Vasudeva is being satisfied. Vasudeva parakriya, Vasudeva param jnanam. Jnanam, cultivation of knowledge. What is that cultivation of knowledge? To understand Vasudeva. Therefore Krishna says, Bhaunam janmanam ante. So-called knowledge, speculation, philosophical speculation without understanding of Vasudeva means he has to continue such speculation for life after life. Therefore Krishna says, Manusyanam sahasreshu koschit jatati siddha. Jnanam. Jnanam means knowledge. So, if you immediately take to Vasudeva, Bhakti Yoga Prayajita, Vasudeva Bhakti Yoga Prayajita, Janayati Asu Vairagam Jnanancha. The ultimate goal of knowledge is to know Vasudeva, but if you take to Vasudeva directly, then Vairagam Jnana, Janayati Asu Vairagam Jnana, immediately, very soon, automatically, ahitakam, without any cause, you understand what is knowledge and what is Vairagya. So Vasudeva Parajnana, all scientific research should be to know Vasudeva. In Boston I was invited in the Massachusetts Technological Institute. Yes. So first of all I questioned the students that you have got technological department, that where is the technology where we can understand the difference between a dead man and a living man? What is the thing is lost that a body is called dead body? What is that technology? So I talked on this point, the student appreciated very much. Actually there is no technology. Why a man is dead? What is the machine? What is the component part of the machine is missing? You can replace it. But where is the technology? There is no technology. Because there is no knowledge with reference to Vasudeva. Simply superficial. Bahirarthamanina. They do not know what is the purpose of knowledge. They are taking interest, taking care of this bahirartha, external things. Bahirarthamani. Nati vidu sarthagating Vishnu. This is knowledge. Sarthagating. To approach Vasudeva, Vishnu. But without that knowledge, they are simply taking outward. Just like Darwin's theory. He has no knowledge. He is simply studying this body. That's all. So one who is interested to study this body, he has been described in the Shastra as ass and cow. Jasyatum buddhi kunapeti dhatuke sadhik kalatrādishu bhauma yujjadhi jat tirtha buddhi salilena karhichi janesu avijñesu saeva gokala. The bodily concept of life is meant for the animals, it is not for the human being. Therefore, Vasudeva parang jnanam, Vasudeva parang tapa. People are taking to so much austerities, just like modern scientists, they have discovered the atomic bomb. That is tapasya, of course. It is tapasya. But that kind of tapasya was done by Hiranyakasipu also. What is the value of such tapasya? Tapasya must be to understand Vasudeva. Vasudeva parang tapa. If one has actually undergone severe austerities of life to understand Vasudeva, that is perfect tapasya. Otherwise it is simply Hiranyakasipu or the manufacturer of the atomic bomb. They are also undergone severe austerities. It is not manufactured all of a sudden, but it requires brain and perseverance. They are manufactured. But what is the value? Killing value. The killing, it is automatically being killed. You discover something that people will not die. If people are dying, you are accelerated the death process, that's all. But they want to take credit out of it. We have discovered this scientific. And that is not knowledge. Here it is said, Vasudevang parang tapa, Vasudeva paro dharma. Vasudeva paro dharma. Unless we come to that point, dharma, religious principle, savai pangsang paro dharma. That is paradharma. What? Jato bhakti radho khaji. Ahituki apratihata. Jayatma suprasidati. By executing religion, one should be satisfied. But unless he comes to the point of Vasudeva, he will never be satisfied. That is not. Jena atma suprasidati. If we learn to love Vasudeva, jato bhakti adhokhaji, then we will be satisfied by executing religion. Otherwise it is superficial. Dharma sanushrita pangsang vishaksena katha sujat notpadayadarating. If one is not interested to hear the katha, Vasudeva katha, sramaye bhi keval. Similar, only formalities will not help. We must enlighten ourselves. We must enhance our propensity to hear about Vasudeva. Savanam, that is one. Simply formalities will help us very slowly. One who is interested in hearing about Vasudeva, his progress is very quick. Otherwise, it will be simply formalities. Vasudeva paradhanma, Vasudeva paragati. The ultimate goal, go back to home, back to Godhead. Vasudeva paragati. So, this verse is very nice. Srimad Bhagavatam, essence of knowledge. Vasudeva para, Veda Vasudeva paramaka. We should take advantage of the study of Srimad Bhagavatam, the direction, then our life will be successful. Our aim of human life, mission will be fulfilled. That is the Krishna consciousness movement. Thank you very much. Hare. Yes. That we'll know in due course, not now. Chant.
So we've heard this really amazing lecture by Srila Prabhupada. As we always say, each lecture we hear of Srila Prabhupada is so powerful. It's like, it feels like a bomb just got dropped on our head. And so this is really, really powerful. Would like to ask devotees if you have any takeaways and reflection, please do share. Yes, Mother Geeta.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisance.
Accept mine, Mother.
While listening to the lecture, I was thinking that the birds who were chirping around Srila Prabhupada while he's speaking are so very fortunate, compared to someone like me who did not have the opportunity to hear Srila Prabhupada in person. But all those birds, they definitely started their devotional life just by hearing Srila Prabhupada. So the one thing I heard in the lecture, which I probably haven't heard, or if I did, I have forgotten, Srila Prabhupada said that the hippie movement started because of draft board. And
Mother, I agree with you.
I've not heard that before.
I haven't either. First time.
Yes, and of course, he also so many points. Each sentence was, so very powerful. And something that really struck me hard was that people don't know what is the aim of life. They don't know what is their actual interest. They are only interested in the body. So these are I would like to give a chance to others also to speak. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mother. Yes, I also, that was the first time, at least for me, I've never heard it before. And like you said, if I heard, probably it didn't go into my head. I was just, it's just blocked right outside my ear. But yes, I didn't, it was really nice to know one of the reasons why the hippie movement started. It was something new for me to learn. Yes. Thank you so much, Mother, for such a wonderful takeaway. Yes, my husband. Go ahead, Friction.
Hare Krishna, please accept my humble obeisances. Glory to Srila Prabhupada. Again, the text itself, so many points were there. Text 28 and 29. And Srila Prabhupada broke down the line by line, describing everything. One of the things that Srila Prabhupada concluded nicely, which is also very troublesome for the earth these days and people, is that those that are in the bodily concept of life, they're living like animals. Animals are the ones in the body concept of life. And then he quoted Bhagavatam, Canto 10, chapter 84, text 13. Yashatma buddhi kunapeti datake. Swadi kalata dishivoma ichchati. Yateta buddhi salile nakaiti. Gyaneshu avigeshu sa eva gokara. He's quoted in so many lectures, and at the end, usually he gets Gokara. The person that's looking at things from bodily concept of life is no better than Go, cow, or Kara, donkey. So the animals, bodily concept of life is animal life. And I just imagine so many people in the world living in the bodily concept of life. And then Shudras are becoming the ones that are being voted in, not trained. He already said, that's another takeaway also, that there's training for Brahman, training for Kshatriyas, training for Vaishyas. Sudras don't require any training. So imagine the Sudras being appointed to the government without any training. So what's going to happen? And that's why things are just topsy-turvy like that. So he pointed it that way. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, it's so true. It is topsy-turvy. In fact, I liked how Srila Prabhupada says, I'm trying to paraphrase. He says something like, no good government for millions of years. Don't wait, don't expect, something like that. It was like, whoa. And the way Srila Prabhupada said it, for millions of years, don't expect a good government. I was like, wow, that is pretty, it's a pretty strong instruction to say, go on living, go on serving, but don't expect a good government. It was like really, really amazing. There's a nice reflection from Xavier, Bhakta Xavier. He says, yeah, when Prabhupada talked about one who studies the body and the kind of attitude, he said it was so alerting that it stood out for me. Yeah. Because that's a good point, Xavier, because, when he was saying that people are so much into the yoga this, yoga that, and it's all connected with the body because they are so attached to the body, that they are forgetting the yoga system to connect with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that was a very nice takeaway too. Yes. Thank you, Xavier. Thank you. Any other takeaways from devotees? Any other thoughts? Yes, Mamina.
Hare Krishna, Mataji Dandot Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisance. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to all of you who are here.
Except mine.
I think this class was for me.
You always. It's good when we think that way.
Like yesterday I had this question and today I was listening and he's saying I'm forgetting the actual words, but then what he meant was like, Dear Krishna Prabhuji is writing right.
No, I thought it was for me. There's going to be a tug of war now. It's for me. It's for me. It's for me.
When he's saying that how much faith you have, that was really, I mean, we just forget about that. I mean, for me especially, when I'm into something, I'm like, where is my faith? I just can't.
Nice point.
It's so blurred, and I mean, I just can't see anything.
Yeah.
And it's such a helpless situation.
Yeah.
I don't know how to express, but then that's what I thought, I felt.
I completely get it. Absolutely. You know, sometimes we get so caught up in our daily activities that that we forget the faith aspect. And then we wonder, where is my faith? How fortunate, Krishna just took the word of him, how fortunate we are, do we even realize how blessed and how fortunate we are? Yeah, it's so true. And as you were speaking, what's, one of my, actually, you know what, Mamina, you finish your reflection. I don't want to jump right in. Go ahead.
No, Mataji, I am falling short of words. Like, I don't know how to put them into words because I can just visualize my feelings at that point of time. So I just cannot put into words. Not possible for me.
Yeah, because as you were speaking, what was coming to my mind, which was my reflection from Srila Prabhupada's lecture, was, we are so surrounded with so much ignorance. Like every day, when I deal with my life at work, especially, I can see, I get caught, and I'm like, oh my God, this is such ignorance, like it creeps up unknowingly. So that is the thing that was really struck me from Srila Prabhupada's lecture in this one, in the beginning, that he says that we don't even know. Like we are not even aware, we don't even know that we are bombarded by ignorance, which also questions our faith, like you said. But I also liked at the end how Srila Prabhupada said that we must enlighten ourselves, and by Shravanam. So that was really a connection for me, especially, how we are so bombarded with ignorance that we don't even know, we're not even aware, like completely clueless. Like you said, that we don't even know, where is my faith? And then Srila Prabhupada so nicely concludes that we just have to increase, we must enlighten ourselves, he says, and we must enhance our propensity to hear about Vasudev, Shravanam, that is wanted. So that was like a very nice concluding point by Srila Prabhupada, that which I really, really appreciate that we do every morning, Monday through Friday. And of course, Sundays, the temple, that we really increase our hearing, increase our Shravanam to really know, my God, we're in this crazy, ignorant world. So amazing. Nice question. Oh, there's a question by Xavier. So could we speak about being tested by how far we please the Supreme? Could you speak about being tested by how far we please the Supreme? I'm trying to understand your question. I think what you're asking, Dr. Xavier, is being tested by how far. Can you explain that question, unless someone else gets a better understanding than me? Wait, where does Xavier go? He's there? Yeah, he's there.
Hare Krishna.
Harival.
Yeah, sorry. In the early part of the lecture, he talked about being tested by how we please the Supreme, or by how we please His will, or something. I don't know. It just stood out, and I wrote it down early.
Get it. I will ask Mother Gita to please, if she can shed some light on that, Mother.
Please repeat the question.
His question, yeah, Xavier, why don't you speak the question? I think it's better that it comes from you.
Prabhupada said, like our faith is tested, or maybe within ourselves by how far we please the Supreme. I think it kind of relates to the spiritual master in a sense, but I wanted y'all to explain it. I just think that, yeah.
So, from what I understand, are you trying to understand how far the faith is tested? Is that the question?
I don't know if he said like our faith is tested or if we specifically are tested. I'm not sure exactly what he said initially in the lecture. Sorry.
Okay, I don't, unfortunately, my memory is poor, so I don't remember hearing that. Possibly it was there. What did you hear that, Anasuya?
He got up briefly, but it says, but the perfection, how you are becoming perfect in executing your dharma, will be tested how far you've satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Yeah, so that is, yeah. You may accept any kind of dharma, it doesn't matter, Dhanustaisya, Dharmasya, but the perfection, how you're becoming perfect in executing your dharma, will be tested by how far you satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's where it was written. Mother Gita?
Yes. Oh, okay. Yes. So it's like even in the material world, excuse me, whatever efforts we put in, the results show us the test that, okay, how much effort did we put in it? Was it a sincere endeavor or not? So similarly in spirituality, also in devotional life, we are able to kind of see the result for ourselves. Say, for instance, am I, getting attached to the holy name? If I'm not getting attached, then obviously the efforts are not sincere enough. Probably the chanting is not attentive. So based on that, I think I explained it. I'm not sure.
I think that's what it is, Mother Gita. How the basis of Shila Prabhupada. Yeah, it's about our faith. We say just like we were talking about her, we say we have faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Well, our dharma, our religion, our occupation, do we connect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead? The aim in Krishna consciousness is to satisfy Krishna's senses. Are we really doing that? Or are we straying and having our own type of dharma? That's why Sri Prabhupada is saying you can accept any kind of dharma, but the perfection, how you're becoming perfect in executing your dharma, will be tested by how far you satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, always think of Krishna, serve Krishna, accept things involving devotional service, reject things not involving devotional service. So if you do that, then it means that you've given your heart to Krishna then, and therefore you'll be able to satisfy Krishna properly. So how you do it, you summed it up earlier. I'm just only talking about it a little bit more. But how you do it in your service quality, as you were mentioning, will be an indication of how much faith you have. Hare Krishna. If you give your heart, you will be. You will be. If you give your heart to Krishna, you want to do everything as well as you can possibly do. And that's your test. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. I hope that helped, Xavier. Yes, he said, thank you. Perfect. Great. There's a nice question. First, a takeaway from Varsha, and then a question. Her takeaway was, real education is to learn about Vasudev, but we keep ourselves so busy learning latest technologies. I like that. So we forget our real aim. That's so true, Mataji. We keep ourselves so engaged in learning this new machine, that new machine, this machine, that technology. That was a really, really nice takeaway. I really appreciate that. Yeah, that's so true. Amazing. And her question is, Hindu religion equals codes and regulations given by Lord Krishna. Is this the correct understanding? Let me check. Yep. If you see right, where's yes. So if we look at this nice 2 paragraphs by Srila Prabhupada, right, where he says that it is the dharma given by God himself. Yes, it is directly given by the Lord himself. Of course, then Srila Prabhupada explains that the Hindu dharma is a vague term because that word doesn't exist, which we all know. But he says it's dharma that is given by Krishna himself, by God himself. Yes. So, and it says right here, Vrinda, if you can highlight the second bracket where it says dharma means the codes. So it says right here, yes, thank you, Vrinda. So it says right that dharma means the codes, regulation given by God. That is dharma, that is dharma. Otherwise, it is not dharma. So dharma, so that is the correct understanding you have, Varsha, as dharma are codes, regulations given by God. So you got their answer, yes. Wonderful questions. Yes, go ahead.
Lord Chaitanya gave plenty. He gave plenty of instructions to Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami. So the nectar of instruction and the nectar of devotion, those are the books that are our codes. It's all there, what to, what not to do. Nectar of instruction is shorter. It's 11 texts. To be even a person that's able to make disciples from all over the world, the very first one, it talks about things that you should do, things that you should do for loving service to the Lord, things that you should stay away from, how to associate. So all of those are regulations that when you follow them, then you're following the laws of God, which are the code. So Srila Prabhupada has explained it. And now, and of course, in the Bhagavad Gita is all there. Also a lot of instructions, what to and what not to. And Srimad Bhagavatam explains it even more. So we have it. It's just a question of associating, reminding each other, and living by those codes. Then we can go back to Godhead. Because right now we're in the reformatory. Hare Krishna.
Dear Krishna, please go ahead. Thank you for adding more to Varsha Mataji's question. Thank you. Yes, Dear Krishna, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All grace to Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah, I accept mine.
Yeah, so regarding this dharma, again, I heard that this real dharma is one ashram, like Prabhupada mentioned in this purport, one ashram dharma. And it is so powerful that I heard that if a living entity is able to follow all the rules and regulations perfectly of this Varnashram system for 100 lifetimes, he become eligible to become Brahma. But continuous 100 lifetimes, 100%, he should be able to follow the Varnashram system.
That is pretty powerful. But at the same time, 100 lifetimes, I don't know about that.
so eventually that's why, like Parikshit Prabhu mentioned about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that's why Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to give us the real dharma, that is the Prem Pumartho Mahan. So that is rise above the Varnashram system. Varnashram system is the starting, and then we have to rise above. Nobody has the patience for 100 lifetimes. This one lifetime is
such a headache.
Too much.
Such a headache. Such a headache. Yeah, this was okay. 100, that idea sounds so good, but the 100 doesn't, it's like, okay, flat out, no, I'm too tired. But yeah, that's amazing. Wow, amazing. Yeah. Yeah. If they follow the Varnashram Dharma, yes, 100 lifetimes. Amazing. Thank you for sharing that there, Krishna.
Still, Lord Chaitanya has asked us to chant and get love of Godhead and go back to the spiritual world. sometimes we have to be aware, well, not sometimes, we have to be aware that in this planet, in this particular universe that we live in, our Lord Brahma has really, really connected with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not all Lord Brahmas do that. So wanting to be a Lord Brahma, big controller of a universe, you're still in the material world though. You're still in the material world. So 100 lifetimes to get to be a demigod, why would you want to do that when a demigod is also a body that's, yes, very powerful, but part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the same soul goes there. And that soul is not back in Godhead. We should not confuse a Lord Brahma that's self-realized from a Lord Brahma that's not self-realized. Some of them are not. You have to understand that still. Some of them are not. Not because you Lord Brahma means you go back to God. No. This Lord Brahma has the boom. And this Lord Brahma is very, very, very much connected with Krishna. That's why Sampradaya is even being named after him, Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. Hare Krishna. Not every Lord Brahma goes back to Godhead.
Over my head, right? For me, at least, I'm still trying to learn how to chant attentively.
And if you can comment on it about this statement that I've made, that's my understanding. If there's some corrections we made, Mother Gita, please go ahead and do that. My understanding is that this Lord Brahma is he used to see the boon to go back to Godhead, but that's not true of all of them. Is that an accurate statement? Well, you can comment more on it if you want.
Yes, it's there in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuvana Loka Punaravartino Arjuna, that even if one reaches Brahma Loka, one has to come back again. And I remember what Dhira Krishna Prabhu said. I recently read it, I think last week, while I was reading Bhagavatam, I came across the statement he made.
Thank you. That was nice for that sharing. And this is, and I really like when, personally, I really learn and benefit from these morning classes. And especially after we hear Srila Prabhupada's lectures, we always have such a nice discussion. And I learn new things that I've, that never learned or heard before. And I heard from other devotees. So it's such a nice learning for me, especially. So I really appreciate this Sangha. I really appreciate this association with devotees after classes, just to share and learn from, from each other. Thank you so much.
Anyway, to make one more point, we spoke the way we spoke. Yes. Materially though, considering materially, Lord Brahma is a great post to have, one of the best posts to have, but for material, and Srila Prabhupada is trying not to get us to consider anything material and be attached to that, because that would be the best sense gratification materially that you can get. He wants us to go back home, away from all of these material universes, whether we are Lord Brahma there or not. Hare Krishna. He wants us to go home to the spiritual world.
Thank you for sharing that. And yeah. And I like how he ended, just increase our hearing. And I think towards the last paragraph of this lecture, Srila Prabhupada said that, the ultimate goal of life is to go back to Godhead. So he is always reminding us what we have to do to go back to Godhead and how to get out of this repeated cycle of birth and death. So such a nice, wonderful lecture. And Srila Prabhupada's lectures are always powerful. So powerful. Brings it down, real down to so simple, ground level. Yet, because we live in an ignorant world, we're not even aware how ignorant we get caught up in this stuff. So we just got to increase our hearing, as Srila Prabhupada said, which we are doing. And I really, really, am grateful, I have to say that for myself, that I have such nice, that I'm able to have this wonderful Sangha with all of you every morning. So that's really, really powerful. Any other last minute reflections and takeaways from this amazing class by Srila Prabhupada? Any last minute thoughts, anything, any sharing? And if there isn't, just want to remind you all about our evening Bhagavad Gita Circle program at 6 o'clock tonight. Please do join us at 6 o'clock Bhagavad Gita program, our reading program. We'll look forward to seeing you. And tomorrow morning, it's early. It's tomorrow morning, His Holiness Chandramauli Swami's class at 7 o'clock. So please do join us tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock with His Holiness Chandramauli Swami. We'll be continuing the Bhagavatam classes. Until then, have a wonderful day. Vancha kapatubhyascha kripa sindhubevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.